that music, it means it's Saturday in baseball on Fox Sports 1. We are in Miami on a beautiful afternoon. Game 2 of a 3-game series between the Braves and the Marlins. The Braves won the first one last night 5-3. How about the start D. Gordon's off to? Hitting over 400, leads the big leagues in hitting. And Freddie Freeman, he's a 3-hole hitter for this Braves team. And hello, everybody. Justin Kutcher alongside Cliff Floyd. And Cliff, last week on Fox Saturday Baseball, Bryce Harper hit a walk-off home run, an incredibly exciting player. We've got another incredibly exciting player on TV this week, a guy with maybe the most power in baseball, Giancarlo Stanton.
Yes, you do, and he's a stud. And when you talk about man-child, I mean, this is that guy. He hits bombs, he's rich, he's young, and he's still learning, Justin. That's the key to me is you see the torque in that swing, hitting the ball out of Dodger Stadium, and you go, wow. He is must-see TV. It takes me back to my days of playing and watching Mark McGwire hitting BP, and you go, how's he get that torque behind the baseball in BP? Well, Giancarlo Stanton is that guy. I just love watching him hit.
He hit 2 home runs last night. That was the first. This was a second. An absolute laser beam that got out. Yet with all that said, his 2 home runs, the Braves still won. And this is a very different Braves team than they were last year. But Freddie Gonzalez still has them hanging around.
Well, you have to compete. When you're young and trying to find yourself, you have to compete. You get an opportunity to play. I think that's what Freddie is doing, is giving these guys a chance to play. You got to want it. And the Braves are trying to do that.
Some exciting players will take the field momentarily here in Miami. Game 2 of this 3-game set. Braves and Marlins is coming up. First pitch and starting lineups right after this. For baseball, the roof is closed at Marlins Park, and we're ready. It's the Braves and the Marlins. Justin Kutcher alongside Cliff Floyd. And Cliff, how about the 4 keys to the game?
Well, when you look at the Marlins, I think, you talk about the bullpen and getting those final 3 outs. I think it's a must for them to cure those bullpen situations. And for the Braves, it's manufacturing runs. You're not a team that can, hit the ball at the ballpark consistently. So you have to manufacture, and you also can't give up extra outs. I mean, they don't have the personnel to be able to get through that. So to me, that is the key to whoever wins this ball game today, Justin.
And last night, of course, it was a 5-3 victory for the Braves. Freddie Gonzalez says, hey, I got to keep it close, within a run, tied or above, but we feel good about ourselves. Ichiro, he's having some fun with the Marlins this year. He is in the starting lineup today for Mike Redmond in this Marlins team. But let's take a look at the Atlanta Braves, the visitors in this one, as Matt Latos walks across the foul line to take the mound. Here is the lineup for Freddie Gonzalez. Jace Peterson will lead things off and play second. Phil Gosselin at third base will bat second. Freddie Freeman in the 3-hole will play first base. Nick Markakis bats cleanup and plays right. Andrelton Simmons will bat fifth and plays short. A.J. Pierzynski gets the start behind the plate. Todd Cunningham made his first Major League Baseball start last night. Had himself a ball game, 3 for 4, including the game-winning RBI. Cameron Maybin in center will bat eighth, and the pitcher is Alex Wood. And they will face the right-hander, Matt Latos. And Latos has faced this Braves team this year. Hasn't fared well against them, but he really has been much better of late. His first 2 starts, he struggled, and ever since then, he's been really the Matt Latos we've seen over the course of his career.
Yeah, you know what? You're looking at his spring training. I mean, he had to get his feet up under him. Going into the season, I think he didn't get enough work in spring training to actually be able to be as efficient as they need him to be. So I think you get a mulligan on those first 2 starts, and he's been pretty good after that, Just.
A mulligan. Wow, didn't know we can get those here in Major League Baseball.
Every once in a while, you have to throw one in there.
The defense behind Latos in the outfield from left to right. Ichiro gets that start in left. Marcell Ozuna in center. Giancarlo Stanton in right. Around the horn at first base, Jeff Baker will start there today. D. Gordon at second. Danny Echeverria will start at short. Martin Prado at third. And behind the plate is JT Realmuto. The umpires, Lance Barrett behind the plate, Toby Basner at first, Dale Scott at second, and C.B. Buckner is at third. Just about ready for baseball here in Miami. This is my first time at this ballpark, and it is a very spacious place. I mean, as a hitter, unless your name is Giancarlo Stanton, it might seem big.
Oh, yeah, this is Yellowstone Park, in my opinion. You know what, though? I think when you look at it, I think both teams, the Braves and the Marlins, are situated in terms of lineup to actually do well in this ballpark as hitters. It's spacious. You get the ball, hit the ball in the gaps. When you see D. Gordon with 61 hits, he's utilizing this park to his advantage. And I think that's the key, is getting the personnel to actually, work with what you're dealing with on a day-to-day basis at home.
Jace Peterson will lead things off, the second baseman, hitting .270, no home runs, 9 RBIs on the year. Prado is in at third. And the first pitch from Latos in their first strike. Latos, a guy acquired from Cincinnati in December for the Marlins. Pulled foul in the dugout of the Braves. Watch out, everybody. No balls and 2 strikes.
And the one thing with Matt is when you look at what he did in Cincinnati, he won 14 games twice. I mean, he knows how to win, especially in a ballpark where the ball flies. So yeah, this should be a good outing or a season for Matt.
Breaking ball back up the middle. There's Latos making the play. 1 away.
Hell, should it be tall in this situation?
Something I don't have any experience with. 1 out here in the first for Phil Gosselin. And by the way, Latos 6'6", 245. Yeah, he's,
There you go.
Gosselin, the third baseman, hitting .333 on the year. And he takes the first pitch fastball for a strike. This is a Braves team where Freddie Gonzalez has had to mix up the lineup time and time again. Gosselin, Callaspo platooning. Gosselin fouls this one away. Behind the count, no balls and 2 strikes. $33 different lineups used for Freddie Gonzalez this year. By the way, last Saturday, he was a perfect 30 for 30 in lineups used for every game he played. Inside with a fastball, 1-2.
If there's anything you can take out of that, and I think for me, you take that guys going to be on their toes. You have to be ready to play every single day you come to the ballpark, and I think that's a must for this Atlanta Braves team at this point.
Fouled back, stays 1 ball and 2 strikes.
And a lot of people look at it as, well, you want to be more consistent, but I look at it as, well, guys come to the ballpark with the opportunity to play, and you have to take full advantage of it, and I think that's what this Braves team is doing. They're overachieving at this point in the season.
Another 1-2, spoiled foul. Well, they've had to make adjustments. For a while, Nick Markakis was batting leadoff, and all of a sudden, Kelly Johnson goes in the DL after Wednesday's game. So now, Freddie Gonzalez has to mix the lineup yet again. He moves Markakis to the cleanup hole, and it's like, where's the protection? What's going to happen? So all of a sudden, Jace Peterson's batting leadoff. You got Goslin batting in the 2-hole. Ground ball to third base. Prado charges. And they're 2 away here in the first. And I love the strategy part of it, because as he's trying to figure out the lineups, you're trying to figure out, how do I protect this man right now at the plate in Freddie Freeman? He's your big bat. With all the lineup changes, all the personnel changes the Braves have made this year under John Hart, he's that one guy who can hit that 3-run blast. Yeah. So you want the pitchers to pitch to him. So who's your protection? Now it's Markakis. And the first pitch is fouled back.
And to your point, I'll take that, as long as Markakis is swinging the bat. But I think the one thing Freddie is trying to do is sort of mismatch and make sure he puts guys in the right position to be successful. And that's what you always have to do as a manager. Freddie is going to have to manage this season. He don't have the luxury of just throwing some guys out there and getting it done every night.
Freeman rips one to right field, a 2-out single.
Such a good hitter Freddie is. He goes down, stays on this baseball, clears the hips, and just short and quick to the baseball. One of my favorite hitters to watch in the game. So smooth. Talked to him before the game. Just has so much swag with his, he's always funny. And I think that's the key to being funny and relaxing and going out there knowing that you're gonna play in a big league baseball game, put on uniform, make a ton of money. Justin, can you beat that?
No, it was my dream. First pitch to Markakis with a fastball is in there for a strike. I didn't realize the key to the success, though, was being funny. I mean,
listen, it's a little dry in Freddie, but he's hilarious. I mean, he goes out and buys 10, 12 pairs of Louboutins and wears a different one every single day. He says he's pulling it off. I'm like, do you, man?
In the dirt, 1 ball and 1 strike.
For who out there who don't know what Louboutins are, go in your wife's closet every once in a while. You got a pair of red bottoms, and they cost about $1,200,
Well, that's what happens when you sign a contract for over $100 million.
Well,
all of a sudden, you can splurge a little bit on some shoes.
100%.
You're not going to DSW to buy your shoes anymore.
Please.
Freeman went halfway as that one's fouled back by Markakis.
And that's to my point of this team, manufacturing runs. Well, Freddie Freeman, you don't think is going to run, but if you get a good lead and good jump. We talked to Mike Redmond about this before the game. It doesn't matter how fast you are. He talked about Mike Lowell back in the day, who couldn't run a lick, but being able to steal bags.
Yep.
Because you get in a position, the guy forgets about you on the mound, and then all of a sudden, you steal a bag and put yourself in scoring position.
The 1-2 from Latos. Jams Markakis. Gordon has to play the funny hop, makes the play, and that'll do it here in the first. No runs on 1 hit, 1 man left on, and the Marlins are coming up. And the Marlins will face Alex Wood, the left-hander. 1-2 on the year, 4.28 ERA. Wood has been winless since his first start of the year, which was against these Marlins here in Miami. D. Gordon will lead things off, and the corners are in as he takes the first pitch for a strike. How about the start that Gordon has gotten off to in his Marlins career?
Well, I talked to him before the game today, and I just said, look, man, can you hit 400? That's the talk around town. Everybody's asking me, can you hit 400? And I get, you know, that hasn't been talked about since Tony Gwynn, the late Tony Gwynn.
Whoa, watch out. Oh, geez. Hopefully everyone's all right down there. Oh. No balls and 2 strikes. Ground ball up the middle. Simmons and Gordon just stopped running as it's an easy put out there.
He stumbled out of the box right there. He's upset because he knew he'd have made that play close.
Yeah. So 1 away. Here's a lineup for the Marlins. Gordon, you just saw. Prado bats second. Stanton in the 3-hole. Marcell Ozuna will bat cleanup. Jeff Baker bats 5th. Ichiro Suzuki will bat 6th. Bottom 3rd of the order, Realmuto, Echeverria, and Matt Latos. One out for Martin Prado. And this is what happened to D. Gordon trying to get out of the box.
Slipped on the plate. I thought it was a bat. Ended up being the plate. Slipped on his looks like.
1 ball, 1 strike.
He going, are you serious? I mean, are you serious? Ichiro's like, I don't know, man.
Ichiro's like, I never did that.
Yeah. And I'm fast.
Prado fouls it away. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Martin Prado, 281, 2 home runs, 15 RBIs, but he is just 3 for his last 24. The 1-2 from Wood. Back up the middle. Now he's 4 for his last 25. A 1-out single for Martin Prado. And let's take a look at the defense behind Alex Wood for Freddie Gonzalez and these Atlanta Braves. In the outfield from left to right, Todd Cunningham, Cameron Maben, Nick Markakis. Around the horn in the infield, Freddie Freeman at first, Jace Peterson at second, Andrelton Simmons at short, Phil Gosselin at third, and A.J. Pierzynski is behind the plate. And so now it's Giancarlo Stanton. Stanton takes the first pitch up high for ball 1. 258, 10 home runs, 35 RBIs. Had the 2 home runs last night. On the outside corner, 1-1. And of course, it's hard to forget what happened to Giancarlo Stanton last year when it looked like he was on his way to potentially winning the MVP. Got hit in the face with a pitch against lefties, does not wear that extra piece on the batting helmet, and he crushes one to left field. Cunningham is at the warning track. I can't believe how high that ball just went as Prado's able to tag up.
Tony, I didn't even see it. I mean, I thought it was up in the beams here. If you look at this stadium, you know, with the roof closed, I lost it. That's how high it was. I thought that ball was going to hit 500 feet and hit the glass behind that home run fence. Just missed it underneath it a little bit. I think he still thought he got it.
Now it finally comes into your picture. Wow.
Well, we talked about it earlier, how big this ballpark is. I mean, that's out of most stadiums.
That went higher than it went further. And it went pretty far. So there's 2 away now for Ozuna, who takes the first pitch for a strike.
As they call it in Lockland, that's a big hang with him.
Swing and a miss, no balls and 2 strikes. I'm impressed by Cunningham out there in the outfield. He just went back, no big deal. It fooled me the way off it came off the bat. Wow. Chopper off the plate. Tough play. Wood has to eat it. Infield single for Ozuna. Prado goes down to third. Runners on the corners with 2 outs.
That's a beautiful hit. I mean, you start your day with that hit right there. I mean, you feeling good about yourself. Just battling right here with 2 strikes on you, putting the ball in play. And Ozuna's like, I got to go. I got to go. You see him hustling out of the box, and Wood is trying to make that play. And good job by him holding it.
The Marlins trying for a 2-out rally here in the first. Jeff Baker getting the start at first base. A struggling Michael Morse with a day off. And the pitch is outside for ball 1.
Just for this team to get going, the Marlins, they need Mike Morse. I mean, Mike Morse had a good spring coming off a World Series last year. They're expecting him to go out and do some big things to sort of protect their superstar in Stanton. And, you know, this junction of the season, he hasn't done well.
Outside, 2 balls and no strikes. Morse on the season hitting just .214 with 2 home runs and 9 RBIs. As you mentioned, one of those offseason acquisitions next to another one in Dan Herron. 2-0 is outside. Now 3 balls and no strikes to Baker with Ichiro Suzuki on deck. And really, if I'm Alex Wood, I know it's a lefty and Ichiro on deck, but I'd rather face a guy like Baker than Ichiro with the bases loaded.
100% agree.
And it's a 4-pitch walk to Baker. Loads the bases here for Ichiro. Ichiro Suzuki has quickly become both a fan and a team favorite among his peers here in Miami. And he takes the first pitch fastball in the inside corner for a strike. Suzuki with his career and over his career with the bases loaded. How about that? 4 grand slams. You wouldn't think that from Ichiro.
No, because he don't hit a lot of homers, but I'll take that average all day, any day. Wow. 86.
Inside outs, 1 to third. Gosselin will step on the bag for the easy out, and that'll do it. The Marlins lead the bases loaded here in the first. We're 3-1, no score. Marlins. It'll be Simmons, Pierzynski, and Cunningham here in the second against Latos. And the first pitch on the outside corner for a strike. Simmons, 270, 3 home runs, 16 RBIs. A guy who is known more for his glove than his bat. And he gets a breaking ball, pulls it to left field. Ichiro going over to cut it off. Simmons, does he test the arm? He does. The play at second, Gordon can't handle it. A hustle double for Simmons out of the box. And a leadoff man in scoring position.
See his hanging breaking pitch from Latos, and Simmons stays on it. Hustles out of the box. Great play by Ichiro, getting to it and showing off the hose. And you look at this throw and you're going, wow, that's on point. But that little short hop at the end gets past Gordon. I think Simmons would have been in there anyway.
You think so?
Yeah. Because when you look at Gordon in that situation, he wasn't in a position to put the tag down. But still, I love the arm by Ichiro.
Simmons with his 10th double of the year. And now A.J. Pierzynski steps in. And the first pitch tails outside for ball 1. Pierzynski got off to an incredible start in April, now hitting .311 with 3 home runs and 14 RBIs. Just 5 for his last 33 is Pierzynski. And he puts one into left center field. That gets down. Ozuna plays on a bounce. Simmons being waved around. He will score an RBI single for Pierzynski. It's 1-0 Atlanta.
Great base running by Simmons in that situation. He had to hold off for a minute. Ozuna got a good jump on the ball, but once he saw that ball was going to drop, he was middle. He wasn't too far. He wasn't close to second base. He was right in the middle. He turns around, good position. He knows that ball's dropping. He takes off, and that's what you have to do. Instincts have to take over for you to score in that situation. Great base running by Simmons.
Really great base running the entire inning. You know,
yes.
He runs hard out of the box, gets that double, now scores because the RBI is single, and here's Todd Cunningham. The switch hitting outfielder, who last night in his first major league start went 3 for 4, picked up the game-winning RBI.
What a night. But it's always good to come into a team like the Braves, young, not a lot of superstars, and you can fit in nicely.
And there with an off-speed pitch. 1 ball and 1 strike. Cunningham can play all over the outfield. Was called up from AAA Gwinnett. Made most of his starts in AAA in center field. He goes the other way, gets his 4th hit in 5 at-bats since being called up. It's first and second, nobody out here in the second.
See him nice low, stays on that baseball. And I always say with these youngsters, if you can hit the ball to the opposite field, you got a better shot of staying in big leagues longevity-wise. It just makes sense for me to see these guys consistently come up, and when you're hitting the ball all over the place, they can't shift on you, Justin. They can't move to one side of the field and take away, what makes you successful.
Yep. And what you just said there, they can't shift on you, and it seems like every player is shifted on these days. Cameron Maybin now at the plate, and he pulls one through the hole. Pierzynski, not known for his speed, will have to hold up. The bases are loaded with nobody out here in the second. 4 consecutive hits against Latos. A double by Simmons and then 3 straight singles. And that is going to bring out the pitching coach, Chuck Hernandez, for the Marlins. The only good thing right now for Latos is that you've got the pitcher in Wood coming up. However, Wood on the season is 3 for 9. So it's not as if this is not an automatic out if you're Matt Latos. We now welcome those of you who are just watching UFC on Fox Sports 1. Justin Kutcher alongside Cliff Floyd here at Marlins Park in Miami. Top of the second, 1-0. The Braves on top. An RBI single by A.J. Pierzynski. 4 straight hits here in the inning. And the bases are loaded, nobody out for the pitcher Alex Wood against Matt Latos. And the first pitch fastball is in there for a strike. Again, the pitcher hitting Alex Wood, 3 for 9 on the year. Infield playing double play depth. Would exchange a run for those 2 outs. And it snowballs and 2 strikes. The Braves won last night's opener by the score of 5-3.
And in the opener, I talked about manufacturing runs. Well, this is what it's all about. Yep. I mean, you have to be able to score more than 1 run in this inning. You're almost okay with Alex Wood striking out. You're almost okay with it because now you're at the top of the order, and you're putting a little bit more pressure on Matt Latos. Well, he strikes out. If you're Cliff Floyd, you're okay with that.
Yeah, Let's see if the rest of the Braves are.
I mean, we hear he's 3 for 9, but in that situation, bases stacked. I would like to see Jace Peterson now working a bat against Matt Latos.
So here is Peterson, grounded out to the pitcher Latos his first time up. And if you're Latos right now and you can get out of this inning with just 1 run coming across, you feel great. In the air, deep right field. Stanton going back. Not going to feel great. A grand slam. First career home run for Jace Peterson, and it's a grand slam. 5-0 Atlanta on top.
That ball was absolutely crushed. Hands cleared, balls down in that sweet swinging area for lefties, and he knows what to do with that ball. Smashed.
Bases are now empty for Phil Gosselin. 5 runs in the inning on 5 hits by the Braves. A double, 3 singles, and now a grand slam. And if you're Mike Redmond and you're the Marlins, you're thinking, man, I thought Latos had kind of turned the corner. Been pitching better of late. His last start in San Francisco went 7 innings, 7 hits, just 1 run, no walks, 5 strikeouts. And now already Tom Kohler's up in the bullpen. Kohler was supposed to start tomorrow, but Henderson Alvarez is going to be reactivated off the DL. A hard hit ball to second. D. Gordon handles it for the 2nd out. So now he's going to be in the bullpen. Long relief, and he may have to come in sooner than expected. Two away for Freddie Freeman. Jace Peterson with the grand slam. What'd you say before, that you don't mind seeing the pitcher Wood strike out because you want Jace Peterson to hit with the base loaded?
Yeah, well, I guess when you've seen enough baseball, I guess you start to see these things sort of unfold before your eyes, and you say, well, I'm okay. I know he's 3 for 9 and all this stuff, but I'd rather see this guy hit the baseball.
Freeman hits it to right field. Stanton's there, and that will do it. But the grand slam by Jace Peterson, and the Braves lead 5-0. And slam. In the top half of the inning, 5-0. Braves on top as JT Realmuto will step to the plate. And he takes the first pitch from Alex Wood outside for ball 1. So not a good start for Latos. Really the first 2 starts. Essentially every time he faced the Braves this year, it's been a bad outing for Latos.
And I guess you have to look at it. Well, you can look at it 2 ways. You know, they have his number, or you're talking about a team that's just so feisty. They're a grinding type team. You have to put them away when you get the opportunity, and he hasn't been able to do that today.
On the inside corner, 1-2. The ERA for Latos now in 2+ starts against these Braves is 18.89.
It's not good.
Inside, 2-2. You know, since those first 2 starts entering today, he had an ERA of 2.73 in 5 games started, and now 5 runs in the first 2 innings. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Realmuto. A long wait in the 2-2. Freeman can't handle it at first base into right field. Let's see what they rule this one for JT Realmuto.
That should be a hit. The ball was rocketed over. And now the thing is, you look at Freddie looking up at the board saying, yeah, I should have got that ball possibly, but that ball came out in a hurry. And there's a day game at the night game, so I'll give him a break as well, Justin.
You're also a hitter.
I am a hitter. I want the hit. I'm at home as well. Ah, and it's an error.
It will be E3.
That ball's a tough ball.
I think he's got to make that play.
He has to make that play. I still want the hit.
So leadoff man on for Adeiny Echeverria. And that first pitch fastball is in there at the knees for a strike. Echeverria, how about these numbers out of the 8-hole? 306, 2 home runs, 19 RBIs.
That's hard to do as an 8-hole hitter. I mean, in front of the pitcher, and you don't know if the guy's going to pitch to you or not. And I think you've seen him progress every year he's been in the big leagues.
Outside, 1-1. What's the mindset right now? If you're the Marlins, down 5-0 here early on.
Just inch back in. Try to get a run here. Try to manufacture as best you can and get back in this ball game one at a time.
A check on the runner at first. Realmuto's back in.
It's a long way to go, and you got a big boy in the middle that can put you back in it if you get a couple guys on, you know, it coming up here. And I think that's what you have to look at it as. You know, you're not a team, as the Braves is not a team that can go out there and put the 3-run homer up consistently, but you do have a guy that can do it in the stand.
Up the middle, base hit. Realmuto will stop at second, first, and second. Nobody out here in the bottom half of the inning. It's time to vote for your All-Stars for the 2015 Esurance MLB All-Star Game ballot for the 2015 All-Star Game. Vote at MLB.com/vote. Catch all the excitement of the 86th Major League Baseball All-Star Game July 14th live on Fox from Cincinnati. First and second, nobody out. In the pitcher spot here, Matt Latos. Also proven to be a good hitting pitcher this year. Although you got to think in this position, he's going to try to bunt these 2 men over in a scoring position. Takes it, first strike, 0-1.
When I talk about getting back in the ball game, this is a must get down bunt.
Yeah.
This is what you have to do, especially when you're giving up 5 runs. Help yourself out so you can actually help the confidence and the mindset by getting this bunt down.
Just by curiosity, how were you as a bunter?
I was terrible.
Were you ever called upon to bunt?
No, but you know what? Thankfully, I wasn't.
Late Realmuto gets it down, and it's a good one. Gosselin makes the play, covering at first base was Peterson. Sacrifice 5-4. Realmuto goes to third. Echeverria goes to second.
Great form. Lays it down where he needs to, down the third base line. He does it down the third base line. And if he had any wheels, Justin, he might have beat this thing out. But with the bulky knee he has, he just did his job and let him go sit down now.
And that's such a good bunt, because did you see how fast Freddie Freeman was charging at first? They were hoping to get that force out at third.
And that is what you have to do if you're the Braves. The defensive line, you have guys who can fill their positions. You have to be in a position. You put the pressure on Matt Latos to make a perfect bunt, and he did.
So second and third, one out now. In Major League Baseball's leading hitter at the plate in D. Gordon. Ground ball right side. Peterson will go to a knee. He'll make the play. RBI ground out for Gordon. Realmuto scores. Down to third goes Echeverria. Well, you said it, chipping away. So they get one run. And a chance now with Prado coming up to get a second run. 2 outs here in the inning.
That's the name of the game when you get down early. I mean, you would love to get back in the ball game with a 3-run homer, but in the National League, of course, you do have the pitcher in the way. But at the top of the order, you have guys who can hit. I think this is where the Marlins thrive at the top of this order, with Gordon, Prado, and the big boy Stanton. 1, 2, 3.
First pitch is outside for ball one. Prado singled his first time up, and the Marlins, a lot of people across the country don't know much about them, but when you look at this lineup, their normal lineup, 1 through 5, 1 through 6, you can put them up there with almost anyone.
I totally agree. And I think when you look at what Mike Hill and Dan Jennings, and the Brass did with this offseason was they picked up some really good guys. They actually, the boys they had, they actually went out there and did what they needed to do to get better. And I think that's why you see Martin Prado and D. Gordon, big pieces to what they're trying to do.
Prado ahead in the count, 2 balls and a strike. Prado was dealt last year from Arizona to the New York Yankees, then dealt this offseason from the Yankees here to Miami. And everywhere he's ever been, obviously played for the Braves as well, everyone talks about what a professional player he is.
Yeah, and that term I use is professional hitter. I mean, he puts together a great at bat, and this is one that counts the most, Justin, for me. You know who's on deck, and you make sure this pitcher makes the pitch that you want him to make. If he throws a pitch down in the zone, he's taking it. That's why I love him in the 2-hole.
And right now, Prado, 3-1. He's got to make sure it's the pitch he wants because of the guy you just saw on deck.
Yeah, you see AJ go out and talk to Alex and go, hey, what do you want to do here? Because let's not make a mistake. I would rather, pitch to, of course, to Martin Prado, because I don't want Stanton coming up there with 2 outs, and now you got a chance to hit a 3-run homer.
An RBI ground out by Gordon, 2 outs in the inning. Echeverria on at third, and a ground ball to third. Gosselin has to back up, makes the throw across the diamond. That'll do it. 1 run in the inning. We're through 2. It's 5-1 Atlanta. Johnny Gomes will join us when we come back. Rockies lead the Marlins. This is the first of a doubleheader here on Fox Sports 1. Coming up next from Wrigley Field, the Pirates and the Cubs. They had a wild one yesterday in Chicago. That'll be a good one. Back here at Marlins Park, 5-1, top of the third. Nick Markakis, Andrelton Simmons, A.J. Pierzynski due up, and we're joined in the dugout for the Braves by Johnny Gomes. And Johnny, thanks for joining us. The first pitch from Latos to Markakis in there for a strike. Johnny, as far as you're concerned, you've made your way around some teams, and you seem to be a good luck charm with the playoffs and seeming to go every year. What have you learned in your travels with the other teams and brought here to Atlanta?
Yeah, I've been pretty fortunate, to, and I'm fortunate at times, bouncing around to play in some, remarkable organizations. With those organizations are the managers that, I've been blessed with, and, that's Lou Piniella, Joe Madden, Dusty Baker, Davey Johnson, Bob Melvin, John Farrell, now here with Freddie, and then coming along with all the players I've, came across with, from Rookie of the Years, with the like Evan Longoria types, Cespedes, to MVPs, and Joey Votto, future Hall of Famers, Pudge Rodriguez, Scott Rowland, Jim Edmonds, and other true champions like your co-pilot Cliff Floyd right next to you.
Oh, snap. Hey, you know what? Hey, listen, not only do I love the beard, but I mean, you've played for some guys and you remember the managers' names. I mean, that's pretty decent, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I've been fortunate enough to play underneath some managers of the year, executive of the year, the youngest organization, in baseball in Tampa, to the oldest organization in Cincinnati with a lot of history there. East Coast, West Coast, National League, American League. I've made my rounds, and I'm extremely fortunate.
Hey, Johnny, we were talking yesterday, and it seems like a lot of players these days don't really get a chance to grow up watching the game and being fans of many players. Right. Who did you grow up watching? Who was your favorite player?
Well, I grew up in Northern California, so, we had the Oakland A's and San Francisco Giants. When I was 8 years old, they battled each other in the '89 World Series, the Earthquake Series.
Yep.
So, obviously, whoever won, I'm going to jump on the bandwagon. They're my favorite team, Oakland A's. And then going back to the World Series in '90, losing to the Reds, the wire-to-wire year. But, you had the Bash brothers with Canseco and McGuire. You had Ricky Henderson stealing bases, sliding head first. You had a Mike Gallego, a Carney Lansford. You had a Eckersley closing the games. And I tell you what, anytime I run into these guys, fortunate to have Mike Gallego on the staff in Oakland. And, I truly, thank them for the way they played the game, because it groomed me for, how I play the game today.
Yeah. 1 ball, 2 strikes here to Simmons, 1 away in the third. We are speaking with Johnny Gomes, joining us in the dugout, which we do appreciate. Your favorite player, though, on a spot, who was it?
Coming up, like I said, it truly was that '89 team.
Okay.
I mean, it had the home runs with the Bash brothers. It had the stolen bases with Ricky Henderson. It had the defense with Carney Lansford and Gallego. The closers and the Henderson in center and the Stewarts. So, I mean, I just got to grab that '89 champ team, and it kind of parlayed into the 2013 team I was on, where, we didn't have the MVP or the Cy Young, but, we had a really good ball club.
Like you said, you're a front runner, so it's okay. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, there's room on the bandwagon, right?
You mentioned that 2013 team in Boston, and one thing people sometimes talk about is chemistry and how important it is, and people say when you're winning, you're going to have good chemistry. When you're losing, it's a lot harder to have that chemistry, as Pierzynski steps in. And he had an RBI single his first time up. What is that? What brings that team closer together? Obviously, you've got the beard right now, and that Red Sox team grew the beards. But what is it that brings the teams close together?
Yeah, I mean, those are just kind of, the shenanigans that, teams, jump onto, whether it's handshakes, facial hair, top of the head hair. But, just kind of, lets everyone else know, and inside the clubhouse, that you guys truly are on the same page. It's kind of ironic, how chemistry gets brought up. Some people buy into it, some people don't. But outside of this game, everyone buys into it. They buy into it with their relationships. They buy into it with their siblings. They buy into it with their friends. But yet, when it's a results-driven industry, people don't want to buy into it too much. That's a tough break.
A nice play by Baker.
But I'm a fan.
You are a fan, and we appreciate you taking the time. Johnny, thanks so much. We go to the bottom half of the third here in Miami. It's 5-1 Atlanta. here in the third. His team trailing 5-1 against Alex Wood. Flew out to deep left his first time up. And the first pitch is outside for ball one. And Cliff, we talked about this in the open, but you've said to me off camera that when you were playing and Mark McGwire was in his heyday, Stanton to center field, going back is made, but he looks up. Oh, wow! That just went above the batter's eye.
I'm telling you, he hits balls where people don't expect to get baseballs. I'm telling you, I mean, that ball is absolutely crushed. You're standing out there thinking, no way will you get a baseball today. And he annihilates this ball like, I mean, the thunder is here. Wow. That's the second deck.
That's bare hand on a ball hit hard. Well, that's the 11th home run for Stanton, his third in his last 2 games.
Yeah, he wearing it right now.
He's like, I might have broken hands. Yep, I got on national TV, but I might have to go to the hospital. Well, ground ball to first base. Freeman will make the play. So, as I was trying to get to before Stanton so rudely interrupted us, other players come out to watch him take BP. I've heard your peers say, I would pay to watch him hit.
Yeah, and I would definitely pay to watch this 4 times a night, 5 times a night, because what he's doing is so electric, and it is awesome to see him continuously get better, and he is must-see TV. And when he's on, you stop and watch him hit. As my man is still thinking about getting some ice.
Jeff Baker, ground ball, nice play by Simmons up the middle. 2 outs.
And this is a look to all our viewers out there. Look how deep he is in the box. He's off the plate. He safely found himself a home where he's comfortable in the batter's box. And that gives him a chance to see that ball a little bit longer. And you see him stay behind the baseball so well. It's a sight to see.
The hit speed was 110. And facing a guy like Alex Wood, who doesn't throw that hard, he's generating almost all of that himself.
Yeah, he really is. And he knows he has to stay back on a guy like Alex Wood, throwing the 88 to 89 miles an hour with some off-speed stuff. But he's just so fun to watch.
Talk about contrasting styles. Giancarlo Stanton, Ichiro.
Well, no,
I'd love to hear those 2 guys talk hitting.
Ichiro, man, I'm just trying to knock a ball to left field on the line between the third baseman and shortstop, and Stanton's like, I'm trying to knock them all down when I hit the baseball.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Ichiro. Fouls one off at the plate, stays 1-2.
And to all our youngsters out there you go. It's different ways to be successful in this game. You don't have to hit the ball 9 miles.
The guy at the plate right now, in my mind, is a first ballot Hall of Famer.
All day. All day. I 100% agree with you. I mean, he has been as solid as you can possibly be.
Checks his swing, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
You have a guy in D. Gordon on the squad that's trying to go ahead of him in terms of hits. I mean, you talk about 265 hits. I mean, it's incredible.
Also contrasting styles. Ichiro, a slow ground ball. Wood with the glove tries to flip it, and he puts it over the head of Freeman. That should be an infield single for Ichiro Suzuki.
Speed kills. I mean, you have to rush that ball. Anybody else, Alex Wood probably has a different approach, but this situation, Ichiro is going online no matter how old he is, and he has a rush.
41 years old.
Still getting down the line. And Mike Redmond, before the game, what did he say, Judge? He said, listen, this guy comes off the box as hard as anybody I have. At 41, he can play on my team any day.
I mean, do you remember when he first came to the big leagues in 2001? That was the Mariners team that won 116 games. If he hit the ball to the left side of the infield, it was a base hit.
It was a knock. Yeah, 100%. And you know what? That play still, that same play is a rush play. And you're talking about when he first came into the game, that is still a rush play. Normally you slow down. At some point you hold that ball, but Alex Wood is saying, no, Ichiro's 41. I can get him out. No, you can't.
JT Realmuto at the plate. Reached on the error by Freeman his first time up, and Ichiro gets picked off at first. A quick move by Wood, and Ichiro is picked off. But the Marlins do get one in the inning on an absolute blast by Giancarlo Stanton. Let's see, are they looking at it? And they say, nope, we're not going to challenge. He was out. We played 3 here in Miami. It's 5-2 Braves. Games. His last 2 have been absolute mammoth blasts. A laser last night went into the camera well out there in center field. This time he went up above. 5-2, trying to bunt as Cunningham pops it up foul behind home plate. Cunningham singled his first time up, came around to score on the grand slam by Jace Peterson in the second. And in case you're wondering, last night's home run by Stanton was measured at 474 feet, the second longest home run of the season for any Major League Baseball player. Alex Rodriguez has the furthest at 477. That was in a game in Tampa. Maybe the ball just travels well, you know, here in Florida. You know, in these dome stadiums. The 0-2 to Cunningham, missing inside, 1-2. And we're still waiting to get the measurement on the last one. Hit by Stanton, but
yeah, well, the guy who caught the ball actually stopped it, so we don't really know, right? I mean, if he didn't stop that ball, how far the ball goes? Who knows?
1-2, Cunningham to right. Stanton has to play this one on the bounce. And a leadoff single for Todd Cunningham, who has now 5 hits in his first 6 at-bats this year. A big day and night of sports here on Fox Sports 1. Of course, these 2 baseball games, Cubs and Pirates, coming up next. And then tonight, it's the All-Star Race from Charlotte Motor Speedway at 7 o'clock Eastern Time here on Fox Sports 1. The NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. Busy week of sports in my hometown of Charlotte. The Wells Fargo Championship at Quail Hollow. You've got the All-Star Race. You've got a swim event with some of the best swimmers in the world going on down there.
Yeah, not my cup of tea, but, you know, I mean, what are you? You're a big NASCAR guy?
Me? I've become a bigger NASCAR guy. I've been to the Hall of Fame. It's right there in Charlotte. Well, Maven takes the pitch for a strike.
Well, I guess if you live there, I guess you have to visit it and see, you know, all the greats.
You know what? It was actually really cool and also educational. They have a ramp, so you see how the turns are banked. I had no idea about any of that.
When you say that, you're saying like, I mean, because you're thinking it's just guys going super fast and know how to drive, right? I mean, you know, you get them on you get them on a side street. You know, can they weave in and out of traffic?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
They can still drive.
Okay.
They make good time. Basically, the GPS has no chance against them. A look back at Cunningham. Latos, in 3+ innings, has given up 5 runs on 7 hits thus far. Maben, a big swing and a miss. Did you see where his head was?
Yeah. Well, you know, and you look at that swing right there, and that's Lato at his finest. When he's making those pitches, off the plate a little bit and getting these type of swings, you see this little two-seamer, and Cameron thinks that ball is going to cut or be right down the middle, and then sort of late movement sort of derails what he's trying to do. So that's when Latos is on his game, when he's having that ball move and he's not throwing upper 90s. I think when he's staying around 88 to 92, he gets that good movement.
1 ball and 2 strikes to Cameron Maben. Ow, fouls off the instep. That hurts. Okay, so I say that hurts. I know you've done it. How much does it hurt?
Actually, I still have marks on me, and I still have the pain from some of them that I've hit on my, right there on that bone that is, to me, it's like the funny bone. Like you hit it and you go, that leaves a mark, and you know what? It just takes you to that point of the day where you're going, I could have did without that today. And a lot of guys wear shin guards to sort of protect themselves from that. And I never felt comfortable wearing one. I just didn't. I just felt like it sort of, I felt like it was something on me. And, and some guys, I bet you he'll think about it. And every time you hit yourself on the leg, you think about, I should put one on.
Another 1-2 pitch. Check swing by Maben. Did he go? He did not, says first base umpire Toby Basner. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Of course, Marlins fans know about Cameron Maben. Check
that
swing.
Was close.
Yeah, I think he held up. Cameron Maben came over to the Marlins with Andrew Miller when they traded Miguel Cabrera to the Tigers. Breaking ball. That is off of Latos. He goes down. Everybody's safe, but now the question is Latos okay? He came down awkwardly on the finish and then got hit with that ball.
Wow. That ankle wears. And for a guy who's been battling some injuries, I mean, you have to wonder, he's going to come out this ball game.
Latos just now sitting up. There it is, off that back leg. The plant leg. You talked about the injuries. Latos, off-season elbow surgery, off-season knee surgery.
And he was just starting to find his rhythm. I know it's a tough start to the game today. You talk about a guy that's just started to turn the corner a little bit, starting to get his legs up on him. Didn't have a full spring training, and now he's in a position where he might have to come out this game. It's the last thing the Marlins are probably looking for today.
Kohler again begins to throw out there in the bullpen for the Marlins. And it looks like this is going to be it for Latos. Hobbling off the field. You never like to see this.
No.
So Matt Latos, his day is done. Nobody out here in the 4th inning. We're going to have a pitching change here. Tom Kohler is coming in. He'll get as much time as he needs after the injury to Latos. Everybody out here. A new pitcher is Tom Kohler. Kohler has to come in, gets as much time as he needs to warm up because of the injury to Matt Latos. With Cameron Maben at the plate, right back up the middle, hit the back leg, the left leg. You could see it right there. Latos hobbled off the field. You hope he's going to be okay.
Well, you see that area down there. It's just not a lot of meat down there, so it's all bone. And
Kohler on the season, 2-3, a 4.62 ERA. Kohler had made 7 starts. This is his first outing appearing out of the pen. 28 strikeouts to 15 walks. Opponents hitting .248 against him. And the reason why Kohler is available out of the bullpen is because Henderson Alvarez is being activated from the DL tomorrow to make the start against Shelby Miller in the finale of this series. So with Alvarez coming back, that should strengthen the bullpen, allow Kohler to go to the bullpen as he'll face the other pitcher in Alex Wood.
We talked about the bullpen in our open, about the keys and how to fix it, and I think this is a key. You get Henderson back, and it allows guys to go into their right place for Redmond in that bullpen and sort of try to get this thing going in the right direction for the Marlins.
Alex Wood struck out his first time up, the only strikeout victim in the game for Matt Latos. Latos went 3+ innings, 8 hits, so far 5 runs, responsible for both men on base, no walks and the 1 strikeout. Everybody expecting a bunt here by Wood. And he does bunt, but he bunts it foul. Alex Wood was a 2nd-round draft pick out of the University of Georgia back in 2012. We mentioned Charlotte before. He lives in Charlotte.
Oh, yeah?
It all comes back.
Full circle, huh?
Full circle. Promos, everything. Can't get that bunt down. Now behind in the count, 0-2. Looked like he tried to bunt maybe a ball.
Yeah, he did, and I think he squared around a little bit too late. The greats I used to watch do it, and one was on this, an ex-Brave Hall of Famer, and Greg Maddux. He scored around super early just to make sure he didn't have to eliminate the thought process.
Well, the corners are still in. Again, Wood is now 3 for 10 on the season. He's squaring around again. And he bunts it foul for a strikeout. One away here in the fourth. And by the way, you mentioned one of the greats in Greg Maddux. You have any idea what pitcher you had your most career hits against?
Don't say Greg Maddux. I would say Chan-Ho Park. If it's Greg Maddux, then I know something.
It's Greg Maddux.
Is it?
20 against Greg Maddux.
Wow. I would have never in a million years.
You weren't that far off with Chan-Ho Park. You had the most career home runs against him.
I know it was something I had decent off of him. That's the only pitcher pretty much I saw good.
Well, Jace Peterson, he saw a pitch well from Matt Latos his last time up. His first career home run, a grand slam in the second. On the outside corner, 1-1. Peterson grounded out to the pitcher his first time up in a grand slam. It's 5-2 Atlanta over Miami. Justin Kutcher alongside Cliff Floyd here on Fox Sports 1. First of a doubleheader here today on FS1. Breaking ball in there for a strike. This was Peterson in the second, and he just crushed one to right center field in this spacious ballpark. 392, and he cleared that part of the fence. One, two, he goes down swinging. Nice breaking ball there from Kohler.
Look at this curveball by Tom Kohler. He has a good one. And you always talk about out pitches for guys coming in. Well, he's a starter and a reliever, but he's always been able to get guys off balance with that curveball. Good out pitch to have for him.
2 away now for Phil Gosselin. Gosselin's 0 for 2, a ground out to third, a ground out to second. His first and second 2 outs after 2 singles by Cunningham and Maben. Kohler came in after the injury to Latos. He's gotten Wood and Peterson. In the dirt, good pick by Real Muto. And that's one of those where you can't try to block it with your body.
No, you gotta get in front of that thing. I mean, and it's an in-betweener for these guys, and JT did a good job there. But back to Kohler, I mean, you never want to come in that situation, but it's good to come in and face the pitcher.
Yeah. Chopper in the hole. Echeverria goes to second, not in time. Good job by Maben getting down to second. And that should be an infield single for Gosselin. Bases are now loaded for Freeman. His only option was to second. And it will be a hit. So bases loaded. Freeman at the plate, lined out to right field his last time up. Missing inside, ball 1. Freeman single back in the first, lined out to right in the second. He is the big bat in the lineup for this Braves team. Breaking ball is pulled foul. 1 ball and 1 strike. Six for 24 career against Kohler. One of those 6 hits, a home run, is also 9 Ks. Down low, 2 balls and a strike.
You talk about big bat for Freeman, and I asked him before the game, did he feel like he was getting pitched around? He said no. He felt like he was getting some good pitches of hitting. And that myth about not having the protection, I think, is starting to lead the game a little bit more, Justin. I think these egos of these pitchers feel they can get guys out like Freddie Freeman, and sometimes they pay. We saw We saw Alex Wood pay last inning.
In their first strike, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, there's nowhere to put Freeman right now. Bases loaded, 2 outs. A chance for the Braves to break this one open again. And Freeman goes down swinging. The 10th time Kohler has struck him out in his career. So a big strikeout and a big performance by Kohler here in the 4th. We go to the bottom half of the inning. It's 5-2 Atlanta. Realmuto, Echeverria, and the pitcher spot due up against Alex Wood. First pitch fouled away by Realmuto, who reached on an error his first time up. He was at the plate when Ichiro was picked off to end the bottom half of the 3rd. Backdoor breaking ball spins in there. No balls and 2 strikes. A story we really haven't talked about much, or really at all so far today, is Realmuto is the starting catcher. Saltalamacchia, a big contract. The Marlins just said, no more.
Yeah, they'd seen enough. And sometimes you have to, get a change of scenery. And they wished him well on Saltalamacchia, and JT was ready.
Pulled to 3rd. Gosselin backs up to play the hop. And the throw across is in time. 1 away here in the 4th. I actually give a lot of credit to the Marlins in the front office for making that decision. Because a lot of teams, when you have a player and you sign them to a big contract, that's not money you just want to throw away or say, all right, that's fine, go. And if you look about the Braves, what they did, they had signed when he was B.J. Upton, now Melvin Upton, and they traded him. They got rid of that money. Look at what the Angels did to get rid of Josh Hamilton.
Yeah, I think you've seen a trend.
First pitch, ground ball. Simmons, let's see the gun. Not in time. Echeverria beats it out, and let's see if there's a challenge on this.
Well, you see Freddie come to the top step, and he's waiting for the replay underneath.
He says to Lance Barrett, hang on a minute. Oh, wow, that's close. Toby Basner, the first base umpire, Tosca, I think with Tosca, not enough.
Yeah, the angle we got is not enough, and there has to be enough evidence. And it's even it's super slow. Ooh.
Wow.
Well, if Brady didn't challenge it, let's keep it moving.
So Kohler hits now in the pitcher spot as he came in for Latos. Bunts, gets it down. Pierzynski will throw to first where Peterson is covering. Sacrifice 2-4. Down to second base goes Echeverria. 2 outs and back to the top of the order. Prado says, hey, nice work. Again, don't forget, coming up next, we got more baseball. Pirates and Cubs, Joe Davis, C.J. Nikowski, Ken Rosenthal with a call from Wrigley Field. D. Gordon, RBI ground out his last time up, 0 for 2 in this one. And he takes the first pitch breaking ball outside for ball 1. How about Gordon with 11 games this year of 3 or more hits?
I mean, he's a table setter. I mean, that's what he is supposed to do. I mean, you saw this happening a lot last year in L.A., and all of a sudden he moves over here and nothing's changed. I think it gives a little bit of credit to Brett Butler over there, third base coach for the Marlins.
A spin, a look back to second, and they have got Echeverria picked off. Second runner in this game, second runner in the last 2 innings that Alex Wood has picked off.
He never tagged him. Never tagged him.
Let's wait and see if there will be a challenge.
Red has to go out there on that one. He never tagged him. From what I see, Simmons had the ball, but he never applied the tag.
And this is the change this year in baseball, where the manager doesn't have to go out there and do the song and dance with the umpire. He can say, hey, hang on a second, let me just look at the replays real quick, and then I'll come out. And he's going to say, they got it right. All right, we're not going to challenge. Alex Wood with a couple of pickoffs already. We're through 4, and it's 5-2 Atlanta. And the 4th, it'll be Nick Markakis, Simmons, and Pierzynski here in the 5th to face Kohler. Let's go back and see. You would have challenged, is that correct?
I would have 100% challenged this. You see Simmons does have the baseball. He does have it, and all of a sudden he tags him right there late as Hechavarria's hand is touching the bag. And, you know, that's, to me, defeating the purpose of having an instant replay. I know you have to have enough evidence, but in my opinion, I know Red does not want to lose his challenge. I just felt like he didn't apply the tag fast enough.
All right. Well, no balls and 2 strikes here to Markakis, who's 0 for 2 on the day. And we're joined in the Marlins dugout by a player I think a lot of people are anxiously awaiting his comeback, and Jose Fernandez. Jose, thanks for joining us. Just have to know, first off, how's the arm feeling?
Feeling great, guys. Actually, today is 1 year from my surgery, so, you know.
Another pitcher gets hit in Kohler. A base hit for Markakis, and we're going to have to check on Kohler to make sure he's okay. Again, we're talking with Jose Fernandez, who had to pause on that one. Let's see, is he all right? It looked like this one got Kohler on the backside.
Yeah, and it smokes him.
On the back of the leg.
On the calf muscle.
Jose, so you were saying it's been a year to the day since your surgery, and you're feeling pretty good?
Yeah, I actually threw a really good bullpen today. You know, facing another light BP on Wednesday coming up. But you know, guys, I'm feeling great, and you know, hopefully we can get it going over here.
You know, Jose, I want to ask you, I mean, as much as you love to compete, how hard has it been for you to be on the sidelines? Are you always smiling still? And get away from Bo Porter, man. You got to get out of that view.
You know, I think he's doing it on purpose, too.
But, you know, how crazy have you been going, man, to not be able to go out there every 5th day and toe that rubber?
You know, it's tough, guys. I mean, you know how I am. I like to compete, you know, and I feel great. But I think it's just part of the process, you know, being patient. I mean, you know, whatever it takes. You know, we really want us for the long run. We don't want to come back for another month and us to be in first place. And, you know, hopefully, you know, anything happens and I got to go back down. So we want to make sure that everything comes out all right and do the best we can to stay healthy.
Jose, speaking of that, you know, the comeback, there's a physical part of the comeback that everyone knows about. How about the mental part of the comeback? What's that like, trying to be patient, and then when you get out there, being able to trust the fact that the surgery is okay and the arm is okay?
You know, I think that's why we go through this long process, and you know, we throw and we face hitters and we do a lot of things. I'm basically going into spring training just now. I've been in spring training for like 2 weeks. Is basically how we're going now. But that's why you trust, and you know, guys, hopefully, I mean, I feel great, and I don't have any. I'm not worried about when I go out there and my elbow and anything.
Was there the concern, though, when you first picked up that ball and said, all right, now it's time for me to throw off a mound again? In the back of your head, where you're going, oh, God, I hope I'm all right?
You know, I wanted the first time ever playing catch, you know, the first throw was a really good one, so I was excited about that. I was nervous there. And my first bullpen, actually, from the mound, and I was in a spring training, and, you know, before I got to the mound, I was really sweaty, so I put the towel on my face, and a lot of memories came back from that game in San Diego and, you know, the game before in LA. So that was a little tough, but, you know, we got the first pitch going and it felt great. So,
you know, when you talk about the electric fastball you have, Jose, you know, what's the one thing you have to put a lot of emphasis on as you start this comeback? Is it more your off-speed pitches? Is it more your location? What are you working on the most?
You know, I think it's all about my mechanics. You know, when my mechanic is right and I'm loading the back leg really well, you know, I think that everything comes out perfect. I think that, I mean, obviously we make mistakes, but I'm on my best when I stay under my mechanics and I'm not trying to throw 150 every fastball.
Wait, time out. You can throw 150?
Sometimes I try, but it doesn't work. It goes out at 180.
Again, we are speaking with Jose Fernandez, somebody that all baseball fans across the country are eagerly anticipating your comeback. And what is it like? I mean, you've got such a young team here in Miami, and so many guys who have so much promise and potential, and some of them already living up to that. What's it like in that clubhouse with all these young guys?
You know, guys, great. You know, I haven't been in this game for a long time. We all know that. But, you know, being with this team, I think it's the best team that I've been a part of this year. We got a couple of young guys. We got a couple of leaders in the clubhouse. You know, we all following the rules. The most important part, we're having a lot of fun in there. And I think this club can do something special this year, honestly.
We just saw a picture of Giancarlo Stanton. If you're facing him, how do you throw it? What do you do against him?
And I was actually talking about that a second ago with Menachino, the hitting coach.
Yeah.
And right now is not a good time to face him.
Good answer, Jose.
Yeah.
Hey, good luck with the rest of your rehab, okay? We're looking forward to seeing you again.
You got it, guys. Thank you.
We head to the bottom half of the fifth here in Miami. It's 5-2 Braves. Bottom half of the fifth, top of the order here for the Marlins. As D. Gordon spins away from that breaking ball that falls in for a strike against Alex Wood. Gordon was at the plate when Adeiny Echeverria was picked off at second. The second straight inning that Wood has picked off a runner. Ground ball hit to short. Simmons gets rid of it quick, the low throw, and Gordon is retired for the third time today. And that doesn't happen very often.
No, it has not happened this season at all. You know, but back to Alex Wood for a second, and the fact that you have a veteran guy, as we take a look at the Cleveland down there, a great place to enjoy the baseball game.
What a cool view it is to watch the game from there.
It is phenomenal. We actually, actually got a chance to go down there yesterday, Justin. But back to Alex Wood, having a veteran catcher in A.J. Brzezinski, the fact that he starts a D. Gordon off with 2 curveballs, that just lets you know, the brains behind the plate allows Alex Wood to go out there and now think a lot.
1 ball, no strikes to Prado. 1 for 2, singled, and the ground out to third. Up high, 2 balls and no strikes. Martin Prado, 284 on the year now. And he's ahead in the count, 3 balls and no strikes against Wood with that man lurking. Giancarlo Stanton, who already hit one basically as far as the eye can see. When you look at this ballpark, right? And last night was my first time here. I go, wow, this park is big, spacious. 3 balls and 2 strikes. And Giancarlo Stanton makes this ballpark seem almost small.
Really small. Like really small. He hits balls that make you think that 418 is 390.
The 3-2. Prado. Shallow left center. Maben coming in, calling for it, makes the catch. 2 away. This was the last at bat for Giancarlo Stanton. It is incredible. You talked about the torque and the leverage. How much backspin he gets on the ball.
I mean, he gets every inch that you can ask of that bat on the ball, and he squares it up better than anybody in the game.
He was looking for a second home run right there. Two outs here in the fifth. Up and in. 1 ball, 1 strike. And I like that pitch right there from Wood.
The fans don't.
Well, the fans are Marlins fans.
Yeah, well.
Straight back, 1-2.
But to your point, you have to pitch him that way or he will destroy you.
How about Jose Fernandez's response to what he would do? Doesn't want to face him right now. Backdoor breaking ball, got him looking. So a 1-2-3 inning by Alex Wood against the top third of the order. We head to the 6th, 5-2 Atlanta. Four coming on the grand slam by Jace Peterson. And here in the 6th, the bottom third of the order, Todd Cunningham leads things off and takes the first pitch breaking ball for a strike. Cunningham and Maben 4 for 4 in this one as a line out to Echeverria. And there's the first out for these two guys. And time for a game break. Let's go back to LA and check in for the first time with Kevin Burkhardt. All right, thanks so much. And, you know, we talk about Giancarlo Stanton, one of the young guys. Bryce Harper, a young guy in baseball, as Cameron Maben takes the first pitch up high. Last night, go back to the hotel, flip it to the channels, and I get to MLB Network, and they've got the Cardinals-Tigers game on. And who's up? Miguel Cabrera. On cue, I believe it was the next pitch, home run center field.
Yeah, he's done that a lot.
That guy is amazing.
Yeah, he is. I mean, it's fun to watch him just as much as it's fun to watch, you know, Giancarlo Stanton hit the ball, you know, country mile. But the one thing about Miggy is he hits the ball all over the place.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, he's not just a power threat. I mean, he is a great hitter. You know, he hits above 300 every year.
Maben taken all the way and takes a strike, 3-1. By the way, an update, you were wondering, or I don't know if you were, but I certainly was, how far the home run was that Giancarlo Stanton hit. 478 feet, which is the longest of the year by any player, by a foot longer than Alex Rodriguez's shot. I believe it was in April in Tampa. Maben gets into one to center field. On the run is Ozuna, who closes the gap quickly to make the catch.
Great jump by Marcell Ozuna in center field right here. The ball was knocked out there pretty good.
2 away. And speaking of away, how about United States and Mexico in women's soccer tomorrow, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time, right here on Fox Sports 1. The tune-up for both these teams as they march on to the Women's World Cup up in Canada in June.
You'll be there for that, huh?
I will. I leave May 31st. Oh, man, going to be so much fun working with Allie Wagner, Julie Stewart-Binks. Going to be traveling across Canada. You've spent some time in Canada playing for the Montreal Expos.
Yes, sir.
I'll be in your old stomping grounds as Kohler strikes out Wood looking. Wood strikes out for the third time. We're through 5.5. It's still 5-2 Atlanta. First career home run was a grand slam back in the second. Alex Wood has gone 5 innings, giving up just 2. One of those was a Giancarlo Stanton mammoth home run. Latos had to leave the game after being hit what appeared to be in the bottom half of the left leg. And he left after 3 innings. 8 hits and all the runs. By the way, that Budweiser bar out there in left center field, yeah, Giancarlo Stanton's hit one out there as well. Marcell Ozuna leading off. Backdoor breaking ball misses outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Ozuna's 1 for 2, an infield single, and the ground out to first. Outside, 2 balls and 1 strike. And you think about this Marlins team, and the Marlins haven't had a lot of chances to play on national TV, but you've got a guy in Giancarlo Stanton who obviously is one of the bright young stars in the game. And we spoke with another one in Jose Fernandez. You get those 2 guys back, and they're 2 of the most electrifying players in all of baseball. Ozuna in the air to right field. Markakis is there, 1 away. Use #this all season long to share the amazing moments that only happen in Major League Baseball. I think you and I are both guilty of not tweeting #this for the home run, but more importantly the catch by the fan in center field.
Yeah, I wonder if he's still out there. You know what I mean? Because you have to think that his hand, by now, is swollen.
It really maybe looks like John Wall's hand after he had, the 5 fractures.
I didn't think that was real when I saw that photo. I was like, come on.
Jeff Baker behind the count 0-2. See if we can hashtag this right now. Watch this play. On a 478-foot laser. Bare hand. A lot of people can't make that catch with a glove.
Including myself.
It's true. I mean,
I'm just saying. Had a tough time with the glove. I could hit a little bit. The leather I put on my hand, I don't know. Didn't work out sometimes.
Missing outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. You got paid for what you could do at the plate.
I would agree.
Those 2 guys right there chatting it up. Baker to center field. Maben coming in, has to play it on the bounce. And Jeff Baker has his first hit of the day.
Tough pitch to stay on. Baker stays on it nicely for a little knock to center field. Man, that is a tough pitch to get a, you have to stay on it, and then you have to try to, keep from pulling off and rolling over the third base. Excuse me. Nice piece of hitting.
Runner on first, 1 out now for Ichiro. Infield single his last time up. Then was picked off first to end the 3rd. And the pitch is in there for a strike. Ichiro won the MVP and the Rookie of the Year back in 2001 with the Mariners. Was dealt to the Yankees a few years ago. And then in the offseason came here to the Marlins. And Ichiro ground ball to third off the glove of Gosselin. And everybody's safe. And that should be an error against Phil Gosselin, which will be the 2nd error of the game against the Braves. Freddie Freeman was charged with an error earlier.
It came up on Gosselin a little bit, sort of flat-footed in the position. But you talk about a guy, again, a tough hop, in-between hop for Gosselin over at third base, but he's playing in the cut in case Ichiro bunts. So it's always tough, that in-between hop, when you're playing in.
It is E5, charged to Gosselin, 1st and 2nd, with 1 out for Real Muto. He reached on the error to Freddie Freeman back in the 2nd, came around to score on the RBI ground out by Gordon. And he lunges for 1. A lot of talk in the offseason about this Marlins team. Is this the year where they break through yet again? A popular pick is maybe a wild card team. Up and in, 1 ball and 1 strike. They haven't played great baseball, 16-20 on the year. Just 4 games back of the Mets in the NL East. A lot of people thought the Nationals were the best team in baseball, let alone in the National League East. And they're a half game behind the Mets. But you look at what's going on right now with this Marlins team. You get Henderson Alvarez back tomorrow, as we've got some action in the bullpen. Bassett warming up.
Yeah, and I think, when I look at this team, inconsistent, but I know it's very hard to be consistent at this level. I think with the talent they have, they should be better. They really should be, but I think you have to go out there between lines and do little things right. And the Marlins haven't done that consistently enough to where you feel like, well, in the offseason, I think they address all their needs. But that doesn't mean anything. When you come to camp, you have to put it all together and go out here on the field and win ball games as you should win. And when you're playing a team like the Atlanta Braves, nothing against them. They are a team competing as well. But you have to beat teams like this if you're going to be a team to be, a contending team, especially in a division that's wide open.
But you get Alvarez back Jose Fernandez comes back maybe around the All-Star break. And the big question mark is, as you talked about early on in this broadcast, as A.J. Pierzynski wants to go out and speak with Alex Wood, is that bullpen. Can you shore up the back end of that bullpen, because they've blown a couple of leads, and with a young team, maybe you have to fight that. You know, there's that confidence issue where all of a sudden you get the lead, you blow a game, and now you're thinking, okay, are we doing this yet again? We saw Kniff warming up in the bullpen. Backdoor breaking balls in there for a strike to Realmuto, 3-2.
Well, I think any bullpen, and I think we saw this across baseball, is when you look at the Kansas City Royals last year, their bullpen was tremendous.
Lights
and
out.
Not to say you have to be as good as Kansas City, but you have to be able to get those final 3 outs, and they haven't done that enough to where, you know, you lose a couple games and mentally it drains you.
Inside, ball 4 to Realmuto. The bases are loaded with 1 out, and Echeverria coming up. Roger McDowell comes out. You've got Echeverria at the plate. You've got a pinch hitter in the on-deck circle. Donovan Solano is on deck. So you already know here in the bottom of the 6th inning the importance of not only this at-bat, but the next at-bat.
Yeah, you need some runs here.
It's the beauty of the National League game.
It is, and you know, it's so much talk about losing this aspect, losing the hitter hitting and the designated hitter coming over to the National League. But I love this strategy. I love to be able to pick managers' minds and you know, the do's and not do's.
Echeverria lays off the first pitch, backdoor breaking ball. He's 2 for 2. Couple of singles. 2 for 7 this year with the bases loaded. A 3-run lead for the Braves. Bottom half of the 6th. And Echeverria fouls it straight back, 1-1.
Good swing right there by Edge.
Baker at third, Ichiro at second, Realmuto at first. The Braves led in this game 5-0. Now timeout asked for at home plate. The Marlins got a run back in the bottom half of the 2nd and a run in the 3rd on the solo shot by Stanton. And now the tying run is on base. Inside, 2-1.
Now, to me, when you look at that pitch from Alex Wood, that's a purpose pitch, because we've seen him live around 88 to 87 today. So now he's going to go up and in, which you don't see a lot of pitchers do today. And you see Alex Wood go in. Now I'm expecting this to be something away, you know, off speed to get him off balance.
And maybe get him to reach, double play. 2-1. He went outside, but didn't go soft.
No. And that's fine. I mean, soft, up and away, out the zone. You still have a guy in Echeverria who's thinking maybe he's going to come back in and pound me and try to break my back.
Two balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Bases loaded here, bottom half of the 6th inning. Missing with a backdoor breaking ball. Now the count is full. The pinch hitter Solano on deck. You have to think this might be the last hitter for Wood. Brendan Kniff warming up in the bullpen for Atlanta. Timeout again asked for by Echeverria. The Marlins had the bases loaded back in the 1st, left him loaded. The payoff pitch. Popped up behind the plate. Pierzynski giving a look. Pierzynski makes the catch. 2 away. And does Wood get a chance to face the pinch hitter Donovan Solano?
And that's an absolute great pitch. 3-2 breaking ball. And I think when you look at that, that is confidence that he can make the pitch. We saw it inning before when he struck out Giancarlo on the backdoor curveball, and A.J. Pierzynski trusted his pitcher to make that pitch again in a tough situation.
Pierzynski goes out to speak with Wood, looking into the dugout. Will there be a pitching change? Doesn't look like Freddie Gonzalez is moving.
No, I think that's more of just trying to figure out who Donovan Solano is and make sure you know, because you go over all these guys in the meeting and you tend to forget. So it's go out there and make sure everybody's on the same page.
Solano's numbers on the year. He's 1 for 8 this year with an RBI as a pinch hitter. And the first pitch swinging, which is what so many pinch hitters do.
You have to. You listen, at the end of my career, I had a chance to pinch hit, and that was the main focus, was to go up there and, you know, swing the bat. Give yourself a chance. I mean, you have to go out there. You've been sitting there for 7 innings. It's tough.
Did he go? The appeal to first. He did, says Toby Basner. So quickly, Solano's behind in the count, 0-2.
That was easy. Yeah. Good numbers by Jonathan. Runs in scoring position, 2 outs. Always thought those were the best RBIs in the business. Runs in scoring position with 2 outs, coming through was always key for me.
Alex Wood trying to get through this 6th inning. And he steps off.
I'm not a big fan of the whole step off, but always, when you're talking about a guy that competes like Alex Wood, who don't have the best of stuff, step off and gather yourself and make sure you get, you know, you get on the same page with your catcher.
The 0-2. In the air, center field. Maben has a beat on it in the spacious outfield there to make the catch, and that'll do it. For the 2nd time today, the Marlins strand the bases loaded. We go to the 7th, 5-2 Atlanta. is celebrating 13 years. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live or on demand in true HD. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking widget, and more. MLB.TV Premium includes a free at-bat 15 subscription where you can watch live baseball on over 400 mobile connected devices. MLB.TV Premium. Maybe the best app out there.
Period. I mean, I use that thing every day. Without it, I am lost.
The new pitcher, Nick Massett, here for the Marlins. No record, 2.08 ERA in 8 2/3 innings, 5 strikeouts, 1 walk. He'll face the top of the order. Jace Peterson takes the first pitch for a strike. Peterson 1 for 3, but the big hit, the grand slam back in the second. Out in front of that pitch. No balls and 2 strikes. Five runs on 10 hits and 2 errors for the Braves. 2 runs on 7 hits and no errors for the Marlins. Breaking ball foul tips. Realmuto couldn't snag it. So staying alive is Peterson. Another 0-2 pulled foul.
You talk about this Marlins bullpen, and this is where roles start to change. When you have a guy like Nick Massett, is he going to now be your 8th inning guy because A.J. Ramos is now your closer? So everything changes when you don't get those final 3 outs of the game. I think they have to now try to figure out what they're going to do with Steve Cishek until he gets back on point.
The 0-2 for Massett. Inside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. What is it about that 9th inning, those final 3 outs, that makes it so difficult?
Hero to go. I mean, it is one of those things where you have to be on right now. I mean, you sit there for 9 innings, you get warmed up. It's not the same adrenaline, but you come in, you have to make it like it is the final out of the World Series or the final out to get you to the playoffs. That's what that role, you know, in my opinion, has to be for you. Now, not being a pitcher, not knowing, I'm assuming it's the same as us feeling like 3-2 bottom of the 9th, you know, with a guy on third base for me to win the ball game. They have to take that approach every night. The good ones, we've seen a ton of them. Mario, you know, when you look at Rivera and what he did for so long, lights out with 1 pitch.
3-2 pulled to right field, a base hit for Peterson, his 2nd hit of the game. A leadoff single for the Braves here in the 7th. We saw a picture of Jason Grilli, the job he's done as the closer for the Braves. A position that was locked up for many years by Craig Kimbrell, traded right before opening day to the San Diego Padres. And Grilli has come in and essentially picked up where Kimbrell left off.
It's a mindset. You talk to him before the game, you loosey-goosey, you see him bobbing and weaving right now. You have to have, you know, just the mindset to move on from day to day.
A lucky break right there for Massett, trying to pick off Peterson. That one bounced and hit Peterson. Otherwise, he's on at second base.
And that's something you just don't see a lot of relievers do. They don't pick off a lot. They don't, you know, you don't get the opportunity. You're only in the game for 1 inning, so you see that, and it's like you can understand how he throws that ball away.
Peterson 3 for 5 on the year in stolen bases. Gosselin trying to bunt. Takes the pitch up and in, 1-0. Gosselin infield single his last time up, 1 for 3. Runner goes, hit and run. Gordon able to smother it, makes the play very nicely. Down to second goes Peterson. But Gordon was on the move to cover and then came back and still was able to make that short hop play.
That's a great play by D. Gordon. Stop, go back, keep the glove down. That's awesome.
And let's talk about D. Gordon. We've talked about his hitting, but this is a guy who came up with the Dodgers, was a shortstop, gets sent down, becomes a second baseman, becomes an all-star at second base, and now he gets traded over here to the Marlins. And all he's doing is leading the major leagues in hitting.
You know what? I give a lot of credit to Brett Butler. I talked about it earlier, third base coach for the Marlins and infield instructor. Just allows him to go out there and be himself. I think it started in L.A. when you had Davey Lowe's that told him, listen, you keep hitting the ball in the air, you're not going to be successful at this level. And you see him work continuously. I come out to the ballpark, he's working on button. I come out and he's working, you know, on stealing bases. And it's all about just wanting to be better.
Freeman fouls it back 0-2. I give a lot of credit to his parents because the work ethic to go back down, to learn a new position. And like you said, not hit the ball in the air anymore, but all right, let me get the ball on the ground, let me get on base and steal bases.
Yeah, and he, you know what, I got here and he called me sir. I go, wait a minute, you ain't calling me sir. You talk about his parents, and you know, I faced Flash, Tom Gordon, his dad. You talk about his brother getting drafted in the first round. You know, so you talk about a baseball family, and he just brings so much to the game. And I love the fact that he comes and he smiles.
Yep.
He enjoys the game. He enjoys the moment. And I talked to him before the game. I was like, yo, man, can you hit 400 from me? I'm getting the question. I don't know. Can you do it? He's like, no, man. You know, but he's very humble. And
He probably said no, sir.
No, he didn't. I told him I squashed that already.
Gets through Realmuto's legs. Down to third base goes Peterson. Still waiting if that's a wild pitch or a pass ball.
I'm going to say pass ball. I've been wrong today, but.
Pass ball it is. So the infield is now in. And Freeman, he cannot hold up. C.B. Buckner punches him out. So a big strikeout by Massett, 2 away.
Just a great pitch by Nick Massett. Big 12-6 breaking ball. Big Freeman can't hold up on it. Good bite to that curve.
2 outs now for Markakis, who singled his last time up. 1 for 3 on the day. And he takes the first pitch inside for ball 1. Markakis was hitting leadoff. Now he's in the 4-hole. We asked Freddie Gonzalez, has his approach changed? He goes, no, not at all. Doesn't matter where he's hitting. His approach is always the same. (2-0). Robin Ventura once told me a great story when he played for the Yankees. All of a sudden one day they're playing in Chicago against the Cubs, and Torrey has him batting cleanup. Well, a few games before, he learned that Ventura could bunt. 2 balls and no strikes here to Markakis. Runner on third, 2 outs. And their first strike, 2-1. So here comes Ventura up to the plate. First time batting cleanup. He's thinking, all right, yeah, this is great. I'm going to show off my power. Looks down at third base coach, and he puts the bunt sign on. And he steps out, looks into the dugout like, seriously? He had to bunt. On the outside corner, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
See, that's when you pull the, I didn't know the bunt.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Never seen that before.
See, when you're too smart, that's what happened. See, me, I'd have been like, what? You gave him the bunt sign?
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 away. Runner on third here in the top of the 7th. The 2-2 breaking ball, 1 hopper to short. Echeverria makes the play, and that'll do it. It's stretch time here in Miami. Top of the order coming up, meaning that guy is due up third. Gordon fouls the first pitch away. No balls and 1 strike. D. Gordon. We see Ichiro. I mean, they just have all the stops here.
Oh, listen. I mean, he's a stud.
D. Gordon, though, 0 for 3, had an RBI ground out. And Gordon, off the glove of Peterson, recovers in time to make the play.
Jay's showing his ups right here. Jumped a little too much for him, but it actually caught the side of the glove. When you don't see the ball actually go in the glove, when you jump, these things tend to happen. I think D thought it was going over his glove.
Yep. Now Martin Prado steps in. Wood got out of that bases loaded jam in the 6th. We thought that'd be it for him. Then you think, all right, well, he faces D. Gordon. You think that's going to be it for him. Now it's almost like batter by batter. 1 ball and 1 strike to Prado,
which is okay. And I think when we talked to Freddie before the game, he talked about his pitch count and making sure he keeps it down. And when you look at his pitch count today at 95, I think this is where he grows up a little bit, and Freddie can trust him to go deeper into the ballgame. I would love to see a lot of other young pitchers, do the same thing.
In their first strike, 1 and 2. You saw in the bullpen, Avilan and Kniff warming up for Atlanta. Avilan the lefty, Kniff the righty. One, 2, hard ground ball to short, easy play for Simmons. 2 outs. Time for a look at our T-Mobile game changer. And it is Giancarlo Stanton, the longest home runs this week. You know, I mean, if you call that long.
Get on board. How about that? Let him take you for a ride.
He hits a baseball farther than I hit a golf ball.
Don't feel bad, Justin. I think he's farther than a lot of people hit a golf ball.
I'd actually like to see him hit a golf ball. He struck out looking his last time up. Outside, 2 balls and no strikes. Out in front, 2-1.
That was a perfect pitch in that situation. 2-0 change.
You can do that with a 5-2 lead in the bottom of the 7th. Missing outside. Now 3 balls and a strike. Cishek warming up out there in the pen for the Marlins. Another changeup. 3-2.
Now the question is, do you get cute and try to blow a fastball past him? I say no.
3-2 in the air to center field. Maben going back again. Maben at the wall makes the catch. What a play.
Great catch.
Cameron Maben going all the way to the wall here at the spacious ballpark to end the inning. The world's largest soccer club. Go to ayso.org/play to find your region and sign up for your fall team today. Top of the 8th here in Miami. Cameron Maybin with the catch to take extra bases away from Giancarlo Stanton. And we just showed you a graphic about the 3 longest home runs hit this week were all by Giancarlo. You could put this one at like 410 feet.
Yeah. I mean, he's squaring up the baseball, and the best thing about it is, you know, he's hitting them to center field. I mean, he's not trying to pull anything.
Right.
These balls are smashed to dead center.
Speaking of going up the middle, Echeverria makes the play to take a hit away from Andrelton Simmons. 1 pitch, 1 out for Steve Cishek.
Smooth Echeverria over there, shortstop. I mean, the Braves got their guy in Andrelton Simmons, and the Marlins have theirs in Echeverria.
The new pitcher in the game is Steve Cishek. You can see his number has been struggling as the closer. His last 2 outings, 1 inning pitch total, 5 earned runs, 5 hits. And that's the reason why he's now pitching in the 8th inning of a game where the Marlins are trailing, as opposed to pitching the 9th to close out a game. Missing outside to Pierzynski, 1 ball and 1 strike.
You sort of saw this last year from Cishek until he got hot, you know, starting going into May. And I think where he has to live is where he's at right there. That's where he has to stay. Middle way, you're throwing 90, 91, and you get ground balls.
2 away, 2 ground ball outs to shortstop. But it brings up, you know, a point with a guy like Cishek in that closer role. If you look at closers over the course of history, since closers have really come into the game of baseball, when you have a guy who doesn't throw overly hard, their window of being a great closer is very small, because their margin for error late in that game is small. You got to have that pinpoint accuracy. If you don't, a player can hit you. But if you throw heat and you leave it over the middle, they may not catch up.
Well, when you look at the motion and you look at all the moving parts, I think it's only a few, and you see this with Steve Cishek, all the moving parts, high leg kick up, he's a little sort of a side armor comes underneath. You know, it's hard to fix that, and I know they have a good pitching coach in Chuck Hernandez. It's just hard to go out there and fix those mechanics. He has to sort of figure out on his own, but it's only a handful of hard throwers in the game. When you look at Chapman, when you look at Kimbrel, and then it falls off, and these guys now have to pitch. To your point, you have to be precise with your, with your location, and that's what he hasn't done. And you see the home run the other night in L.A. with Cishek against, you know, Van Slyke, and he's missing the spot. So what hitters do is they eliminate the pitches. Right. They eliminate certain pitches and make you come to them, and that's when he's been in trouble.
2 outs here in the 8th. Todd Cunningham at the plate. 2 for 3 on the day. And Cunningham bloops one into left field. That's his 3rd hit of the game. Back-to-back games with 3 hits for Cunningham, and back-to-back starts, his first 2 starts in the big leagues.
Did we say take advantage of opportunity earlier? Wow. Oh, my goodness. This is just a nice piece. Stays on it. You know, and that's how you hit in this game. You don't necessarily have to always square up a baseball, but you stay on balls and you give yourself a chance. 3 knocks later.
That almost looked like a backhand in tennis, just with a little slice on it. Cameron Maybin spins one. Real Muto wasn't expecting that pitch. He's going to go out and speak with Cishek.
That has to be the most uncomfortable feeling for any catcher in that situation. He goes, wait a minute, timeout. Oof.
No balls and 1 strike to Maybin. He's 2 for 3. A couple of singles, a run scored, and a fly out to center. A throw over to first, gets past Baker. And how about the hustle here by Cunningham, going for 3, and he's in there. You gotta love this kid right now if you're Freddie Gonzalez.
Love it, every bit of it.
A low throw gets all the way through.
And you say yourself again, you see Cunningham get a good lead. He wants to go 3. You can't rely on your third base coach. This is all you. And he just gets in there at third base. But back to Cishek. In that situation, I'm wondering why you're trying to pick him off at first base. You got 2 outs. You got the guy at the box. Get the guy at home plate out.
Timeout is called.
He's got to be in the box, too, and he already got my attention. Ready? Just give him a second.
Mike Redmond asked the umpires to come together.
What's that? Take it up with Dale. You can take it up with Dale. It's a ball.
He's out.
Oh, he's out. Wow.
He's out.
Well, so much for loving the hustle, because Knight just made the 3rd out of the inning at third base. They're going to challenge. The Marlins, 66.7% on challenges this year. The Marlins already running off the field. They show the replay on the Jumbotron here at Marlins Park. The Marlins were 2nd last year in challenges, and he is out. Well, I still like the hustle by Cunningham.
Oh, I love it.
But
I'll take my chances.
You can't make that 3rd out of the inning at 3rd.
Yeah, stop it.
There it is. He's out. We go to the bottom of the 8th, 5-2 Atlanta. And then after a challenge, you can see clearly out to end the top of the 8th. So here in the bottom of the 8th, the new pitcher on. It's Jim Johnson to face Marcell Ozuna, Jeff Baker, and Ichiro Suzuki. Johnson in 18 games, a 3.12 ERA. On the inside corner, and it's quickly no balls and 2 strikes to Ozuna, who's 1 for 3, an infield single, a ground out, and a fly out to right. Back up the middle. Peterson behind the bag at second. Nice play, made it look easy. 1 away. Today's game is brought to you by Chevrolet, the official vehicle of Major League Baseball. With Johnson on the mound, you're going to see a lot of balls hit like that, just pounded into the dirt.
Yeah, you saw him as one of the best closers in the game a couple of seasons ago in Baltimore, and is trying to find himself again, and I think, this is a good role for him, especially on a team that needs some veteran leadership.
Baker takes the first pitch for a strike.
As you mentioned, he throws that heavy fastball. But, he throws a lot of fastballs, and I think that's the difference for him, and he has to hit his spots consistently.
Breaking ball misses up high. 1 ball and 1 strike. That heavy sinker, Tim McCarver used to say it's like a bowling ball.
Yeah. Well, you hear that from a ex-catcher, and you know that it's coming in there pretty heavy.
Nice breaking ball. 1 and 2. As a hitter, how can you tell if it's a heavy ball?
Well, when your bat breaks.
When you hit the sweet spot and it still breaks?
Exactly. And you go to yourself, I know I squared that ball up, and your bat is shining all over the place. Yeah, that's when you know. But, with him, he's rare because he throws really hard, and he has good off-speed pitches to go along with it.
2-2, lined over the glove of Freddie Freeman into right. A 1-out single for Baker. Baker has been on base 3 times now in this one.
You see, talk about that heavy sinker. That ball sinks right over the middle of the plate, and Baker just stays inside that baseball and drives it to right field for a knock.
And you talked about it before about trying to take advantage of playing time. Here's Baker getting a start in place of Morse, and he has a couple of singles, a walk, and a ground out. And now Ichiro Suzuki steps in, reached on an error his last time up. Just bores in there.
Hard.
You can hear it.
Yeah.
One ball and 1 strike. Ichiro, among active players, 3rd in games, 2nd in hits, 1st in stolen bases, has over 4,000 total hits if you take his time in Japan. Inside out's that foul, but I don't know about you. I don't account for that time in Japan because here's why. It's not the major leagues, and I know it's the major leagues of Japan, but a guy like Tuffy Rhodes hit how many home runs in Japan?
Yeah, 50.
Okay. How many home runs did he have in the big leagues?
Probably 10.
Okay. That's why I don't take it into account.
Good point. I won't argue you. I just wanted to hear it.
Called strike 3. Ichiro doesn't agree with it. Lance Barrett rings him up. Let her high.
Let her high. That's that new strike zone that they implemented. And I know
new, you meaning
like
old, you meaning by the book?
Who knows these days, right? I think, but that looked like a pretty good pitch.
Not according to Mike Redmond.
No.
Thought it was terrible. Real Muto takes the first pitch sinker in there for a strike. Missing inside, 1-1. Real Muto walked his last time up, has been on base twice, also reached on an error by Freddie Freeman. That is a devastating breaking.
It's dirty. And I'm telling you, what made him so good was the ball they threw before the prior was a pitch that out his hand was a ball. Now before, that ball used to look like it was going to be hittable, and you got a lot of swing and misses. That's when he sort of fell off a little bit. And that's the one he gets you to beat yourself up with all the time. I mean, he just kills your shins.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Real Muto. Bottom of the 8th inning, 5-2 Braves leading. Echeverria on deck. The Braves trying to the first 2 games of this series. Slow breaking ball misses outside. They won last night 5-3. They lead here 5-2. Tomorrow it's Shelby Miller against Henderson Alvarez coming off the DL to make the start. Real Muto. Skies one to left. Cunningham there to make the catch, and that'll do it here in the 8th. We go to the 9th here in Miami. What a day to be outside. It's 5-2 Braves. Two Braves lead. They got all 5 of their runs back in that 2nd inning. Cishek on for his 2nd inning of work to face Cameron Maybin, who is at the plate when Cunningham was cut down at 3rd base to end the 8th inning. And the fastball in the outside corner for a strike.
I mean, some good work for Cishek. Only used 10 pitches last inning in a 1-2-3 inning. And, you know, I think when you're trying to find yourself, this is good work to get that mindset right, to get that confidence back where you need it to be, so you can now go back to that bullpen and help. Maybe it's situational right now, and maybe eventually he gets that closer role back.
Jason Grilli warming up, the closer, as Maybin off the end of the bat gets one out to left field for a base hit. Follow the Marlins all season and follow all of baseball all season in 2015 with MLB.com At Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At Bat is up to the moment at any moment with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcast, statcast, and more. Get MLB.com At Bat for your smartphone or tablet. Pinch hitter Eric Young Jr. on to hit in the pitcher spot. And he tries to lay down a bunt. Can't do it. Freddie Gonzalez and the Braves trying to get an insurance run here.
Why not? I think this is what you're going to see from them the whole season. Already exceeded expectations, I think, coming out of the gate with the way they've played thus far. And I think you still have to maintain, you know, the same thought process throughout the season.
Ground ball, right side. Baker, his only play is to first with the pitcher Cishek covering. May have been down to second base. So that runner in scoring position now, top of the order for Jace Peterson. We talk about what this Braves team is going to have to do all season long, and it's amazing how much they have transformed from one year to the next. The last couple years, they were an all-or-nothing team. And the first pitch to Peterson is in their first strike. I mean, it was a home run or a strikeout.
Yeah.
Now, with John Hart and what he has done in the offseason, they have changed the entire face and philosophy offensively for the team.
And it's not about just getting rid of contracts. It's about, putting the team in position to be good again. And when you start the fire sale and get rid of, Jason Hayward and Justin Upton, you have to continue. And I think that's what you see the Braves are today.
Fouled back. No balls and 2 strikes.
I mean, I would have to think going to the season, if you Freddie Gonzalez and you say, hey, you tell me what? I'm losing Evan Gattis, I'm losing Justin Upton, I'm losing Craig Kimbrell, and I'm going to lose Jason Hayward, my best defender in the outfield. And you tell me to go out there and win ball games, I'll tell you you're crazy. But I love the way they compete every single night. And like I said, when you see expectations, it gives a confidence and instills a confidence in the young players that they have over here, with a couple of veterans thrown in there. To hey, we can compete in the tough NL East that's wide open.
One, two. Peterson lifts one to right field. Stanton going over by the line in fair territory, makes the catch. Maben just draws the throw. Not going to go on that. And there are 2 outs here in the ninth.
I always marvel at that because I couldn't throw, Justin, but when you look at a guy who can throw and you know he wants to showcase that arm, that's good to see.
It's funny because the Braves, I was in Atlanta a few weeks ago for a Reds-Braves game, and I saw them take infield. And I asked Freddie Gonzalez, is this something you normally do, or is it because you guys have been struggling defensively? And he said, on the second day of every homestand, we do infield for about 8 minutes. It's pitchers fielding practice and then ground balls around the horn. No batting cage up yet. They're just doing this. And I loved it. And I remember going to games as a kid and watching teams before a game take full infield outfield. And you would wait to see that right fielder throw from right field to third base. And for me, growing up, going to a Yankee game and Jesse Barfield, you're going, oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, you have to keep that, going. And I think the one thing I look back on my career, John Bowles, he was a guy that was a manager, 1 year with the Marlins, and we did the same thing. And I thought, why are we doing this? It's hot out here. I want to be inside. But you know what? It helped us not get complacent. And I think that's the key for a young club is, yeah, you're playing decent, but you don't want to get complacent and feel like you achieve anything because you haven't. Right. And I think that was the one thing I loved about John Bowles, and I think we all got better from it was, we didn't get complacent. We came out and we actually, as a team, got better throughout the season in terms of defense.
2 balls and a strike to Gosselin. Way out in front of that slider. 2 balls and 2 strikes. So, okay, you guys got way better. You said you didn't like it. Why are we doing this, right?
Right.
Why can't you bring it back today?
Well, I
especially
think,
at a time when it seems like you're trying to develop players more and more in the major leagues.
Yeah, I think it's hard to get guys. I think a lot of it is you don't want to get guys hurt. I think we've seen guys get hurt in PFP, pitch and field in practice, and you've seen guys, throughout the season get hurt and on little things. And I think the last thing they want is to be out there and you have a guy, hurt a shoulder or something like that. So I think they stay away from it.
3-2 ground ball to second base. Gordon comes in to play the hop, and that'll do it. We go to the bottom of the ninth here in Miami. Can the Marlins make a comeback? 8-9-1 due up. close things out here for the Braves.
How awesome is that?
Yeah.
Grilled cheese. I wouldn't mind one of those right now.
One of the most underrated foods around. But Grilly 10 for 11 in save opportunities this year. The ERA is not what he's looking for, but 17 strikeouts to 5 walks. He'll face Adeiny Echeverria leading off here in the 9th. A pinch hitter up next. And the first pitch fastball at 92 misses for ball 1. Not exactly a large sample size. Justin Bour on deck.
It's a large human on deck.
You know, we said one of the best nicknames in all of baseball. I think Justin Bour has maybe the best first name in all of baseball.
Yeah. Go figure.
The 1-1. Low and outside. 2 balls and a strike. For the Braves, this is the 8th game of a 9-game, 10-day road trip. They got swept in D.C. 1-2 against Cincinnati. And a line drive down the right field line is fair for Echeverria. He's going to second base in there with a stand-up leadoff double. The 8th double of the year for Echeverria.
It's just a nice piece of hitting. You talk about one of the best young hitters in the game today, hitting it out of the 8th spot. He stays on this ball, inside out it for a nice double down the right field line.
And again, he was thinking double the entire time. So now the pinch hitter is Justin Bour. Bour 5 for 10 as a pinch hitter this year. And the first pitch fastball in there for a strike. And if we talk about Giancarlo Stanton making this ballpark look small, in batting practice, watching Bour take BP, he makes the right field bleachers look like it's, I don't know, Old Tiger Stadium.
Yeah, we saw that yesterday. It was like, wow.
Backdoor breaking ball, 0-2.
2 tough pitches to hit if I'm Justin Bour. I'm shaking my head as well, but
you see that Papa John's billboard? Now the last row where those fans are sitting, that's where he was putting them yesterday. No problem.
Yeah, I was yeah. Not an easy poke, I'll tell you that.
Behind in the count, no balls and 2 strikes. Fights it off foul, staying alive.
You know, I've always loved guys who didn't use batting gloves. And I've only played with a couple, maybe one, Moise Alou. And never use batting gloves. I just think, man, you're a real man.
Yeah,
because
you're
I
tough.
had to have batting gloves on. And you talk about a guy who don't get much playing time, but look at the helmet got pine tar all over it, the bat pine tar everywhere. I mean, that's a baseball player right here.
Again, a big hack.
That bat would come out of my hands. I would kill somebody in the first base dugout. Maybe that bat would be all over the place.
It's funny, Bryce Harper recently has gone no batting gloves.
He's done everything. One batting glove, no batting gloves. He's just bombing them all over the place.
Another 0-2. Breaking ball fouled back.
You might want to stay away from us. I didn't bring my glove today.
That's one where I wouldn't mind. You know, that ball the fan made in center field, that one I would not have gone
Stay away
after.
from. Yeah.
Echeverria led off with a double down the right field line. Justin Bour pinch hitting here in the pitcher spot. Bottom of the ninth, 5-2 ball game. Backdoor breaking ball just missing.
This is where you're confused as a hitter, because early in the count, that was a strike. So now you take it as a ball, and now you go up here, and now you're looking, well, if you throw it again, what do I do? You're in between.
Timeout asked for by Bour. D. Gordon on deck. Hitless in this game today. He's only gone hitless 5 times this season. And now Grilli will step off. How difficult is it when you're the batter and it's taken this long for the pitch to come?
Well, if you're a rhythm guy, it's very difficult. And I think that's the one thing, you know, sometimes you think pitchers are trying to get in your head by doing this.
Again, a long delay, and again, Grilli steps off, and now he calls out Pierzynski.
And the thing you wonder about is you're saying to yourself, as a hitter, what's your arsenal of pitches? You have a fastball and you have a curveball. I mean, is it location? Or, you know, what's off in this situation? And this is a part of the game that gets long. When you talk about the length of the game and the hours and stuff like that, it's not so much the in-between, it's this type of stuff, not being on the same page with your catching. We've seen this all day. Alice Wood had some issues early on with Pierzynski as well.
Right. The veteran catcher, A.J. Pierzynski. 1 ball, 2 strikes here to Justin Bour. One-two fastball fouled away.
It's one thing with this bat, if anything, you look at the pitches this bat, that's 7. So you at least getting deep into a bat, and maybe it helps, you know, a D. Gordon or the guy after that, and you can get your big boy up there and Stanton.
That's the hope for these Marlins. Can you get Stanton to the plate? It looks like Grilli's just having a hard time seeing the signs from Pierzynski. Inside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Regardless of the outcome, this has been a really good at-bat as a pinch hitter for Justin Bour. The 2-2. Breaking ball popped up. Simmons on the outfield grass. Makes the catch for the first out. Time for a game break. Let's go back to LA and check in with Kevin Burkhardt. All right, thanks so much. Bottom of the 9th inning here in Miami. It's a 5-2 Braves lead. Justin Kutcher alongside Cliff Floyd. D. Gordon steps in. 1 for 4 career against Grilli. He is 0 for 4 with an RBI ground out in this one. Just 5 games this year where he has gone hitless. Entered this game hitting .433. And that .433 batting average led all of Major League Baseball by a lot. And the first pitch is inside for ball 1. Prado on deck. If the Marlins can get somebody on, that man is lurking. Fastball in the outside corner at 95. 1 ball and 1 strike.
One thing about averages, when you look at D. Gordon come in at .433, it goes down real quick. It don't go up much when you get over 100 plus at-bats.
That's why hitting 400 is so hard. A look back at second, nobody covered.
When you talk about length of the game, well, the last at bat with Justin Bour took 6 minutes and 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's too long. I mean, when you talk about the step-offs and the miscommunications and all that.
Down low. 2 balls and 1 strike here to Gordon. Big swing and a miss. 2-2 now to D. Gordon. That's just Grilly saying, here it is.
Yeah.
Hit it if you can. Simmons having some fun with Echeverria down there at second. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, bottom 9. Breaking ball in the air, center field. Maben gonna play it on a bounce. Echeverria was held up at third. He went right through that stop sign and scores an RBI single for Gordon. And if Prado doesn't ground into a double play, that'll bring Stanton to the plate.
There's a couple things happen here. Good piece of hitting, first of all, by D. Gordon. A little deep move by Cameron Maben in center field. But you talk about holding up, if you know, and Brett Butler's trying to hold on because he want to make sure that the big boy gets up. But Echeverria had a good read, so I don't mind this. If you know you're going to be safe, go for it. Good read on that baseball, and you score a run.
5-3, Martin Prado at the plate. He's 1 for 4, singled his first time up. A couple of ground outs and a fly out. Good breaking ball on the first pitch, and E. Buckley.
The fans don't like that pitch. I mean, that call, but it's actually a good pitch. They basically, you know, going off of Martin Prado jumping out of the way.
Fastball missing outside. 1-1. And trailing by 2 with 1 out. D. Gordon on at first. You got to think he's holding up here because his stolen base rate's not great. 17 of 29. You want to make sure you get Stanton to the plate here in the inning. At this point, his run means nothing.
Yeah, it does. And I think when you look at him, he understands it. We talked to Red about this. Yeah, he has the green light 99% of the time. This 1% is to get the big boy up to the plate.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
1 ball and 2 strikes here to Prado. Fouled straight back. Good hack by Prado. There he is on deck. Now has the cage on with the righty on the mound, Giancarlo Stanton. Had that home run back in the 3rd, flew out literally to the wall in center field in the 7th.
Man, it's like some yoga breathing right there.
Fought off again. Caniff and Avilan warming up in the bullpen. Got to think the only reason they're warming up is in case this game goes to extras. Up high, 2-2. Nervous fans here at Marlins Park. Gosselin is on the line at third base. 2-2 breaking ball is fouled back. Prado goes down swinging.
That was nasty.
2 outs, and here comes Giancarlo Stanton in the first inning. Hit a towering fly ball to the left of the warning track. Then the third. Nothing was keeping this one in the ballpark. The longest home run of the season, 478 feet. In the seventh, he hit this one about 410. Roger McDowell out to speak with Jason Grilli. And, you know, you almost wonder. Everyone says, well, you don't put the tying run on base. However, on deck is Marcell Ozuna.
Well, you know what? It's a tough one. I mean, we've seen a few managers go against the book and go against the grain. And,
I mean, heck, they used to walk Barry Bonds with the bases loaded.
You know, but that was Barry. But you look at some situations, you know, hot hitters. I would think about this a little bit. Now, if I was going to make that decision, I would think that you would actually have Freddie go out there and have a conversation. When you send Roger McDowell, I think it's more of, you know, how you want to pitch him in this situation with Ozuna on deck.
0 for 3 in his career against Grilli with 2 strikeouts, 2 walks. Representing the tying run, bottom of the 9th inning. 3 home runs in his last 2 games. And he swings the first pitch in the air to center field. Long run for Maben coming in. He's there, and that will do it. 5-3. Atlanta wins for the 2nd straight day. They won the opener 5-3. They win this one 5-3. Wood gets the win. Leto suffers a loss, and a save for Grilli. That'll do it for Cliff Floyd and our entire crew here in Miami. Let's go out to Chicago. Joe Davis, CJ, and Ken Rosenthal.